Hey YouTube, how's it going? My name's Aiko. You know what we're doing today, so we're just gonna jump right into it here. Fortnite obviously came out with a new update somewhat recently. They added a bunch of new controls and controller options and keybinds, if you will, so you know we have to cover it, right? If you haven't entered the giveaway, everything you need to know about the giveaway is going to be on the screen now. It's basically to say thank you for 20,000 subscribers, teaming up with my buddy Max to get the giveaway and make it possible for you guys. There's going to be a link below if you want to enter. It's going to end in just like about a week now, so hurry up, get your last few entries in, and we're going to pick one lucky winner to basically win all the prizes that you see on the screen. Super exciting stuff, can't wait to pick winner. Alright, so for the new Fortnite settings, I've added some things, and I want to highlight the main points. So I guess I'm just going to quickly go over everything that I have for those of you who kind of understand the things here, or everything, you know, that I have set, just quickly to scroll through them all. And then we have custom controller keybinds for combat, for build controls and edit controls. It seems like a lot. Looks like a lot, looks pretty daunting, but we're going to break it down and highlight some things. The first thing I want to highlight is the new controller build sensitivity. So let's see the description here. Sets the modifier for controller sensitivity when in build mode. 1.0 will have no change in build mode. You know, it's going to be the same as your controller sensitivity. If you have it higher than 1.0, then it's going to be faster sensitivity only while in build mode. So what that looks like, mine's not that much higher. It's only, I lowered it to 1.3 right now. I was playing with a 2.0, so that's as fast as it can go. It goes really freaking fast. It's a little bit hard for me to handle. I was able to do it, but it's kind of weird. So you can see, like, sorry, dizzy warning here, guys, but like that's how fast I spin like that. And if I switch to build, it will be a little bit faster. Like, I don't know how well you can see that, because mine's really not that much higher than normal. It's only at 1.3, but like, for example, if you turn it up to 2, so this is my normal one, and then when you enter build mode, it goes really freaking fast. So that's really nice when you want to do like fucking fast-ass building and all that fancy stuff. But if you're not used to it, it could be kind of weird at first. Moving on, let me turn that back down a little bit. Like I said, I was playing at 2.0 and it wasn't the worst thing, just needs a little bit, just a few games to get used to it. Slowly I'll be changing this higher and higher probably, because it's really nice to have a faster sensitivity while in building. It has the theory to be a little inconsistent when you're swapping back and forth, but I don't think it's the worst thing. I think most of the time players are going to be able to manage that and differentiate in and out of combat pretty well. So one thing I have toggled on is sprint by default. I guess to explain that one really quickly, it's basically so you don't have to click the sprint button, and this is going to be handy pretty soon when we get to the keybinds, the controller button mapping. That's going to be helpful for that. Like, as you can see, I do have an elite controller. You got to keep that in mind. I do have all 4 paddles mapped to A, B, X, and Y for the Xbox, and that's going to be important when we get into the button mapping as well. But as you can see, like when I go to sprint, I don't need to click sprint. It just does it automatically. Like, you can walk and stuff if you just do a little bit. And then, of course, if you push some more, it's going to automatically sprint. And that frees up the click, the little click button feature that the stick has. That's going to free up a button to actually map something to in the future when we get to that. So we play with that, toggle on. You don't necessarily have to, but we'll touch on that. So then we have the edit mode aim assist. Basically, when you're editing things, you guys, you know, it's the magnetic thing that's on the screen and helps you kind of edit the different blocks and squares and yada yada. I play with that on. I don't feel like it helps that much, but I also don't think it interferes that much. Just kind of, it's there, so it's on. I do play with turbo build. I always have. Auto change material is always good. So controller auto run is gonna be on. We're gonna have to have that on. Basically, that's just a feature of double clicking so you can stay running. Auto change materials is an important one I want to highlight as well. Definitely have that on. And then lastly, these are the 2 ones that are pretty important. This one here specifically, Builder Pro, build immediately. So previously with Builder Pro, you would have to click a button to switch over to, for example, your stairs. But you can see I just pushed it once and it automatically places it. Same with the wall. If I just click it once, it's gonna place it immediately. It builds immediately. All right, so it's just like it's instant. Okay, so turbo build would allow you to hold it, and basically that was okay, but build immediately, it's just like building it instantly, alright? Build immediately is something you obviously have to get used to, but it's a good thing to actually try to adapt to. I personally haven't nailed it by any means at all yet, because I haven't played too much, but when it comes to like doing one of these little pushes, like it happens so quickly that there's enough time that you could do 2 of these. I can't, personally, I've never really practiced it, but you can do 2 of these at this point, you know, while sprinting. It's not really a big deal because it frees up so much time without having to hold it. Same with just like boxing up. It's just crazy how much time you save, and it's just, I can't believe it's actually finally a thing. It's just nuts. It's a crazy setting. Definitely recommend playing with that on. And then lastly, the other one we have, which kind of applies to us. I mean, for me personally, it doesn't apply to me at all. This is the controller edit hold time. If you remember, you would have to push B or circle, whatever you're playing on, to pull it out, to pull out your build mode, and then you would have to hold it to go into edit mode. So that little slider value we saw right there, if you turn it down, it just turns down the amount of time you actually have to hold the button to enter edit mode. For me personally, I have edit mode just completely mapped differently, so we don't have to hold it at all. So there's 2 things. If your swap to build and out of build is the same as your edit button, this is when it's a good thing to maybe turn it down a little bit just so it happens faster. But we've mapped our edit and our swap button to be different things, so this doesn't even apply to us really. So we're gonna get into that. So you can completely customize all your buttons and all your button mapping for combat controls, build controls, and even edit controls. Really, really crazy. Kind of beyond me. So we can see all the other configurations, but if you just go down to custom, it's gonna let you just bind anything that you want to be bound. So the most important things that I have swapped. So again, I do play with the Elite controller, 4 paddles mapped to A, B, X, and Y. Alright, so the only things I have swapped, you can see my combat, all my buttons are the same, except for, I guess we can start off here. So B is my swap mode button, and then Y is my edit button, okay? And then when I'm in edit, Y is my confirm, and X is my reset. Okay, so let me show you what that's like. Everything's pretty much the same besides those things I just covered and a little bit of the sprinting, like I said we were gonna get into. So like you can see, if I hit B, it's gonna pull it out, and then if I hit B again, it's gonna put it away. All right, so B and then Y, I just press Y. It's a quick press of the Y paddle, or I guess the Y up here if that's what you're using. This is pretty much mapped to my Elite controller specifically. You can use it for if you play claw with a normal controller, but it really does pertain to Elite controller the most, just because of the paddles or whatever other controller that has paddles. It just makes it so fast. All right, so my Y is my edit. So if we build like a wall or something here, I push Y to do edit, Y to confirm, and then Y to edit again, X to reset. All right, so my reset happens really fast because I have my reset, instead of it being mapped to the right stick click, the crouch like it was before, it's just mapped to a button. So it's just a lot easier to reset things and a lot easier to edit and swap back and forth between combat and stuff like that. So just to go over that one more time really quickly, B is gonna swap my modes, Y is gonna let me edit my, enter my edit mode, Y is going to confirm in my edits controls, you can see that there, and X is gonna be the button I press to reset, instead of clicking the right stick to reset, just because I feel like that control was a little wonky. And most things in the edit controls, you can see, are not bound to anything, because when you're in edit mode, there's only so many things you can do. So besides that, the only other thing I have swapped is my sprint feature and my pickaxe. All right, so since my Y is now my edit button, I need to put my pickaxe somewhere, and I put it to my sprint toggle, my previous sprint toggle, the left stick click pretty much. So now I can just click my left stick, and of course we have that sprint feature on, so it doesn't matter that we're not missing out on it, right? Now you're gonna assume that, you know, maybe what about your auto run? So what I've done for auto run is normally one of your D-pads is unmapped. I think it's left on the D-pad that's typically unmapped. So I actually mapped sprint and auto sprint because we need the auto sprint feature. We don't need the sprint feature per se, but it just comes together with auto sprint. I put my auto sprint where my squad comms used to be, on the right D-pad, and then I moved my squad comms to the unbound location. So when I am sprinting, of course, even though I have like the little sprint by default mode on, if I pull up my inventory, I'm not gonna keep sprinting. So what you have to do, you saw that auto sprint was a double tap. I have it mapped to the right D-pad. So when you're sprinting, if you can just reach over and double tap the D-pad twice, then, you know, that's your auto sprint feature right there. You know, not the best thing, but it's just auto sprint, so it doesn't really matter if it's just something you have to do, you know, really quick. Just reach over and tap it, and you're auto running. Something I haven't mastered is exactly what I want to do with my traps, because swapping traps and placing traps is one of the other last things that I think is still a little bit wonky. I haven't done much testing with some of those binds, so if you have any for me, leave them in the comments below so I can check them out. Any suggestions for that stuff? But I've only played like a few games since I swapped my buttons, and I've adapted pretty well. The only thing that sometimes throws me off is mid-battle, I'll sometimes go to press the sprint button, and it'll pull that out. But if you can just refrain from that, and of course you'll be more and more used to it as you play more, and it's just gonna be second nature like it wasn't originally. One thing I really love is just the editing and the confirming and all that stuff. So if you want to kind of get used to this, my boyfriend was actually saying this, if you just put like a floor down, or excuse me, some stairs down, that's a really good way to just kind of practice all of your edits just really quickly. Just kind of get the new buttons kind of engraved in your head a little bit more. Stairs have like the most configurations, so it's kind of nice just to like try to get them down. Anyways, I think I've done enough rambling for you guys. Be sure to enter the giveaway. The link's gonna be below. Best of luck to the winner. If you're new here, consider subscribing so I can see you in the next New Thursday video. Until then, I'm Aiko. Peace.